You got the Royals in the second wild card, and miraculously, a team that sold at the deadline got rid of Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
Got rid of a lot of guys. Brought up a lot of young guys. That can go one of two ways. You bring up a lot of young guys to get some experience. But with lack of experience can come, iffy form, inconsistency. Well, they've shown to be really consistent. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the play-by-play. I'm Brian Bedell, joined by Andrew Sabidra. So there's a lot of shit going on. I will lead with the fact that kind of like last episode, we'll be leading with baseball just a little bit. We are filming this Thursday night, so when we do talk about football, we will not be incorporating the Sunday night football game. We actually have it in the background on right now. Can't show it because copyright.
Yes, sir.
But so while that's going on, let's go ahead and let's lead off with some MLB. So we'll lead off with a little bit of controversy, I guess, with the NL Wildcard when it comes to the Mets and the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I pulled it up right here just because I don't know it off the top of my head.
Right.
But so obviously, everybody knows the NL Wildcard is really tight.
Yep.
Between realistically three teams trying to get 2 playoff spots. Yeah. There is an outside shot. I don't know what the score is of the Padre-Dodger game right now, but there is an outside shot that the Padres win tonight, and they knock that magic number down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dodgers do have to play hard these last few games.
Oh, absolutely, if they want the division.
And I don't know who the Dodgers play. I know the Padres close with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
So that's a big series. But so let's go ahead. Let's first talk about...
Dodgers got a bit of a layup with the Rockies.
And of course, anything can happen.
It is in course.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Mets and Braves for a second. So they were supposed to play yesterday and today. They did not because of devastating hurricane. Hopefully everybody's okay. Anybody that happens to be watching from there, hopefully you're okay. But terrible storms hitting a lot of the East Coast. Now knocking that game to Monday.
Right.
Doubleheader. I'll go ahead, and I know that I've talked for a long time here, but I'll start as a Mets fan. I'm mixed emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is because the Braves play a really hard team with the Royals. Royals have to fight hard because that AL wild card, which we'll get to, also wide open.
Yep.
And the Royals are fighting for that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, due to pitch for the Braves yesterday was Chris Sale. Today would have been Max Fried. Now you're looking at Monday, not Max Fried and Chris Sale. Because they're going to be used for this Royals game.
Which they need it, yeah.
They need it. And, the Braves manager, I'm going to butcher his name, but I think it's Schnedeker.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Ryan Snicker?
Yeah, something like that, whatever.
Like
he did say that they might save Sale. But it's kind of tough because you need to win the games against the Royals, too.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, for sure.
Because there is a huge chance that the Padres have to play hard to maybe try and win the division, win 2 out of 3, or sweep the Diamondbacks, and then both the Braves and Mets are in. I did also hear from the Braves manager today that there's a talk about if the games don't mean anything, they're not going to play them.
I mean, you would want that for any team going into the playoffs, especially if they're both in. And I mean, why not save your good arms, save the bullpen a little bit, get you well rested for the playoffs,
Yeah, definitely. And, I was thinking about that because it's a little it's a little easier for the Braves, although travel's never easy. They do get used to it, I know, because they go all over the place for, 200 fucking days.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But you got, did Brendan Aubrey just miss that?
I looked at you for that exact reason.
Sorry. Oh, well, sorry about that. Brendan Aubrey just missed maybe his first kick of his career. So in the Mets case, the Mets now leave Atlanta and go to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If they have to play the games, which I'm assuming they will. If they have to play the games, they'll then leave probably Sunday, go down and play a doubleheader against the Braves on Monday, and then fly to San Diego, which it looks like right now. They'll probably end up playing San Diego, and fly to San Diego for that for the actual wild card series. Yeah. There is a chance that if the Braves stay in the second, or I mean, not the Braves, sorry. If the Mets drop down to the third wild card spot, they'll just turn their ass around and fly right back up to Milwaukee and play in Milwaukee.
Right.
But so you really hope to where if it can work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, the Mets would probably. It looks like the Mets, if they make the playoffs, will have to travel down to San Diego, no matter if it's from Milwaukee or from Atlanta. I do think, in a little bit of a bold prediction here, and we'll get your take right now, I do think that the wild card we're going to end up seeing is the Padres playing the Mets and the Braves playing the Brewers. I think that if there is a team that's going to be left out, I think it's going to be the team that went to the World Series last year. I think it's going to be the Diamondbacks, although they are really hot right now.
Yeah.
They just, listen, I'm going to be a homer. I'm wearing a USA jersey right now, but on the back is David Wright.
Yeah.
Got the Mets jersey right here. Oddly enough, also got the Brewers jersey right here, but that one does look sick.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a homer, but that's what I think it could look like. What do you think about this whole thing?
I mean, I think if you're the Mets, you're just happy to be here. I know.
Yeah, you're right. No, but you're definitely right.
I know
You're
not happy to hear that, but I mean, and I think although the Padres are hot right now, it's a team that you don't look at aside from like Dylan Cease. You're not like, if you could somehow squeak that game out,
Musgrove owns the Mets.
But he hasn't had a great season. No. But I think if you can somehow get a win out of that series, you're looking at that series and you're like, we can win this thing, you know? And I think if you're the Diamondbacks, you're probably pretty upset, especially given the fact that, I mean, they did go to the World Series last year, and but it's just a different year. And I mean, look at the Phillies last year; they lost to them, and they look like the juggernaut of the NL right now. And that's with the Dodgers. So
yeah, and
that's my take on it.
That's where we'll go ahead and go into just a little bit, talk about just the National League playoffs, how they're looking to like setting up. Anyways, now obviously, once again, I'm a little bit of a homer when it comes to the Mets.
Yeah,
but without a doubt, and I can't believe I'm saying this. For one guy, I can kind of believe it because he's shown glimpses. But there's not a whole lot of teams outside of the Phillies that have a 1-2-3 going into the playoffs
as strong as them,
as strong as the Mets, with Severino, Peterson, and oddly enough, Manaea.
And we'll say that with the form that they're in right now.
Yes, with the form in the
season.
So that's what I'm saying is I'm a little surprised with Severino and Manaea. David Peterson's younger. He's shown glimpses, gotten hurt a lot. And so this is really the full year where he's been healthy. I think he's like 9-2 with this last start. He got roughed up a little bit, might have crept over a 3 ERA, but he's had a fantastic year. So there's not very many teams that can compete with that. And the Mets, I'm not sure if it's still the case, but at least as of a few days ago, they had the most runs batted in from the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter. So that lineup's deep. That lineup's deep. Now, you're not getting the production right now from the 4 with Pete like you normally do. You're getting a lot of production from 7, 8, 9, and 1. Now, 1's a big question mark because if Lindor can play.
Yeah.
Their MVP, not the NL MVP, but certainly their MVP, probably runner-up MVP. It's going to be huge. The stuff he offers now, don't get me wrong. Luis Angel Acuna has been amazing. He's been playing lights out. But you would much rather have the guy that's been to a World Series, has been to the playoffs.
And like you said, their MVP, the entire season without no one comes second to that on that team.
No. So I think we were talking about this last show. He has like a 8 WAR, and the next closest 7-7 or something like 7-4.
Yeah,
and then the next closest is Vientos with a 2.8 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
And that's not even a full season of him.
Yeah, no, exactly. Which is also pretty impressive. Probably going to hit 30 home runs. But so we spent enough time talking about the NL. Let's move over to the AL.
Right.
So as of today, probably about a few hours ago, the Yankees did clinch the AL East. I have not looked at the
exact matchups.
The exact thing yet. With a Twins loss or a Tigers loss today, I do believe the Baltimore Orioles would clinch that top spot.
I would say it's pretty given that they're going to get it.
Yeah, they either need to win one of their last few games or have one of those other teams lose. So it looks like they're going to clinch that. So that's almost now they've kind of fallen off.
The Twins?
Not the Twins. I'm sorry, the Orioles.
Right.
They were leading that division by a lot. They got a lot of young guys. We'll get into that. Let's go into the real, meat of this, I guess.
Yeah.
When you're talking, it's not as close, as maybe everybody's cracking it up. You got the Royals in the second wild card.
Yep.
And miraculously, a team that sold at the deadline got rid of Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
Got rid of a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Brought up a lot of young guys. That can go one of two ways.
Definitely.
You bring up a lot of young guys to get some experience, but with lack of experience can come,
Inconsistencies for sure.
inconsistency.
Yeah,
Well,
for
they've
sure.
shown to be really consistent,
Yeah, yeah.
and they've
On a heater right now.
the second, maybe I think they're either the second or third hottest team since the trade deadline, which is really weird because they're the only one of those two teams that didn't buy.
Yeah, and it sold even.
Yeah, and they sold. They
didn't buy. Yeah.
And so you have the Twins sitting there 2.5 back. Now that's not as tight. It almost looks like the AL is almost
They have to
sealed
sweep, and they need the guys ahead of them to lose. And that's asking for a lot.
Going to that, let's talk about this for a second. I saw this report earlier today. The White Sox, in good old baseball fashion,
Yep.
chose to skip Garrett Crochet's start today to have him start against the Tigers tomorrow. They said it's because it's an AL Central rivalry. Makes a lot of sense. And you want to make it hard on your rivals.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, and maybe I was a little shocked by this, but a lot of people were like, this is good for baseball. And I think it's good for baseball too. But I thought a lot of people, I even saw Detroit fans saying this is good. We want to know where our team is. That right before the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to get much better than Garrett Crochet in the AL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only person you might arguably get better is on their team. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
But so I want to get your take on, if you think this is good for baseball or, bringing some of these rivalries back where we haven't really seen much of that in a while. You have some AL or some NL East rivalries where the Phillies and Braves kind of go at it. I won't put the Mets in that because the Mets have really been struggling. But you have, the Dodgers and the Padres and
those teams that have constantly been going to the playoffs.
And they're fighting hard all the time. But I want to get your take on a team that has 120 losses, really trying to stick now, coming off a sweep. Sorry, coming off a sweep.
They didn't need them today anyway, so that's fine.
Coming, 120 losses. Really kind of sticking it to a team that's fighting for a wild card.
Yeah, I mean, I love it for baseball because, like you said, as a Detroit fan, you want to see, and especially when it looks like they're going to be in the playoffs, you want to be facing the best and facing the sharpest pitchers. And I mean, like you said, it's not much better in the AL. And I think for me, it's just good for baseball. Fans are going to go to the game. They're all right. We got one ace. We got the other team's ace, and we got us who are red hot right now off 5 straight wins. I mean, you feel like you could take on anyone right now. And especially given the form in the second half, you're like, shit, we could do this, And you want to do it, especially because if you take him out, the rest of the series is probably going to be a sweep anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's like you take out the head guy in game 1, you're looking forward to the rest of the weekend thinking, we got this.
I'm thinking the Tigers would feel a different way if the Twins were like 1 game back.
Yeah.
Or something or tied. Yeah. But like if it kind of looked like the NL right now, I think they'd feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But with the fact that they're probably pretty confident that they can now, this is lack of research on me, so I don't know personally, but that they can go into Chicago or play in Detroit and at least take 1 from the White Sox. By the way, please take 1 from the White Sox. It will knock away the Mets.
You mean the Braves? the Royals take 1 off the Braves?
No. I want the White Sox.
Okay.
The White Sox need to lose 1 more game.
Okay.
At least. Because it will take away the all-time loss record from the Mets.
Okay.
At 120. They're tied right now. The Mets need to get rid of that. Just wipe that away. Let's get rid of that.
I would think this White Sox team is pretty historic for how bad they've been.
By the way, a little bit off topic, I guess, but did you see that the White Sox owner said he wants to cut payroll?
Jeez.
I don't like this. So let's get into this for a second.
Easy.
Let's get into this for a second to close out our first segment. I think that we obviously know there's luxury tax in baseball.
Yeah.
Teams pay a lot in luxury tax. Quite a few of them do.
Yeah.
You got the Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres,
Yankees.
the Yankees. I think the Phillies might pay some in luxury tax, although it's not a whole lot. They're certainly close.
Yeah.
So you have these teams, and did you know that luxury tax? Might need to be fact checked, but the luxury tax, I do believe, goes into a collective that helps other teams.
Really?
And it's like evenly distributed. So no matter what, these owners of these teams that don't give a fuck are making money,
even off of other teams.
Off of other teams.
Yeah.
So when you're a person that just cares about money, why spend any? Like, I understand that, like, yeah, Citizens Bank Park, where the Phillies play, is sold out every game.
Yeah.
And they're really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But their owner still pays a lot too.
Absolutely. You got to spend it to make it, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're going to make a whole lot. And I don't know what the TV deals are for the postseason, how much the teams get a cut and all that. But the Phillies are always in it. And the Phillies are always good right now. So they're definitely going to make more money. Now, I'd like to see the difference on what the Phillies owner makes in profit and what he's got to spend on the team compared to what like the White Sox will make in profit this year compared to what they spent on their team.
Yeah,
or maybe even next year if they actually do follow through and cut payroll. Now, I don't know anybody on their team that's making more than $1 million, so I don't know how they're going to cut payroll.
Probably Lou Bob.
But yeah, that's probably it. But you just can't cut Lou Bob.
Yeah.
All these contracts are guaranteed.
Right.
He's got to pay. He's got to get that money somehow.
Yeah.
Look at all the deferred payments we have right now between Bobby Bonilla, Ken Griffey Jr. I think this is the last year getting paid $5 million from the Reds. You know, Chris Davis, first baseman.
He's still making money, right?
Just started making money, $10 million a year from the Orioles.
Wow.
I think that started either last year, this coming year. So the first payments are all that, but for them, yeah. And then obviously the most recent controversial one was Shohei Ohtani, just because of the bulk of money.
Off.
But
he's
so
making
actually,
chips. He's making chips right now.
I know. Going back to our short we made, now we're kind of jumping all over the place, but this just got up to mind. So going back to the short we made about Shohei Ohtani, did very well on TikTok. Go ahead and check out our TikTok. Anything. You know, a lot of people in that comment section, over 1,000 likes too, really well performing video.
Yeah.
A lot of people in that comment section were saying he is only getting paid $20 million or whatever it is, although his contract is $70.
Right.
Those deferred payments are going to be fat.
Oh, absolutely.
In the 2030s.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see your take on what do you think they're going to do? What are the Dodgers going to do when they have such a chunk of their money? Because I know you probably know this. The luxury tax goes up every single year you're over it.
Yeah.
First year you pay 10%. Second year you pay 20%, and it goes up and up, accumulating until, assuming you duck under, because no owner wants to pay 50+% in a luxury tax.
Yeah.
So what do you think they're going to do when they have such a big chunk? That's a player. That's a premium player, $30 million, and he's a premium player now, and they've already made their money back.
Yeah.
But what do you think they're going to do with that chunk of money?
I think you have to do. It's gonna suck to see it again, but you got to probably do a Bonilla structure where maybe he gets paid $1 million or $5 million for the next 20 years or whatever it is. Because I think what he's getting this year is like $2 million. It's not even in the 20s.
Oh, okay.
It's something like incredibly low, and it's because of how much the rest of the team is already making without him. And so think about it: 68 times 10. Over the next, or essentially after this initial, he's going to get 20 mil basically with the Dodgers. So I think you just have to restructure it. Maybe at the end of his career, maybe figure out something that, okay, financially,
what makes sense?
There's no way we can spend $68 million on a guy who's not playing for us.
Yeah.
Because that would be insane.
Yeah.
I think you just have to restructure, because other than that, that's $68 million in dead money to a guy who's not even, he might play until he's 39. He's definitely in great shape, but that's, 10 years from now. So
and
we don't know.
And to end this conversation, to end our baseball talk here, thank you for sticking with us through this. You got, it's an investment company that bought the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
What says that this isn't their problem? You know what I'm saying? Like they win like 2-3 World Series.
Yeah.
Have high profile stuff.
Hey,
let's sell the Dodgers. Sell them for much more than what you bought them for. I know you bought them for a lot.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers market's only growing.
Yeah.
You got like 3 years left on that Shohei contract. So you still got the Shohei money. So the new owner is going to be like, oh, we still got it.
Yeah.
The Dodgers still probably going to be good. They're the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm interested to see what ownership does the closer and closer the end of that contract gets, whether they try and sell or like a restructure if they're in to hold the Dodgers.
I would certainly say it would be scummy, but as far as just pure financial decision.
Oh, these businessmen don't care if it's scummy.
Who cares?
These businessmen don't care if it's scummy, dude. They don't care at all.
It's definitely an idea that I'm sure we'll be discussing in about 9 to 10 years from now when that time comes around.
Yep.
If you see the Dodgers for sale, don't be surprised.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys, thank you for we're going to go ahead and take a quick break real quick, come back with some college football and some pro football to kind of continue the show. Thank you for watching. All right, guys, welcome back. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. We got a decent amount to talk about because we're going to do both college football. We'll start with college football,
Yep.
and then we'll go ahead and move on to the NFL. We'll probably continue the NFL talk into another short little segment after this, depending on how much time we have. So let's go ahead. Let's kick off. Obviously, definitely not the headline matchup for this week. We all know what that is. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about another game that this storm is going to affect. Colorado and UCF. So I'm interested in getting your take on right now, according to ESPN Bet, UCF is favored by 14 points on the spread, flat 14. So obviously they think it's going to be, for college, that's a little close, but it's not really that close. I'm interested to see, UCF like to pound the rock.
Definitely.
They like to, extra linemen out there, get some tight ends out there, get the running back moving.
Yeah.
Colorado does not.
I don't think they can with that line.
Well, I don't think so either. But it's
Yeah.
interesting. And last week when they beat Baylor, that Hail Mary and all that, it was pouring rain. Now the cameras didn't pick it up. Cameras are amazing now. It's really hard to tell if it's raining at all.
Yeah.
I notice it the most when I'm watching the Premier League because it always rains and over there.
Yeah.
Where I'm watching, they're talking about how it's pouring and it doesn't even look like it's raining.
Yeah.
So the cameras are obviously amazing. But I'm interested to see, do you kind of agree with the books here that you think UCF kind of runs the rock all over Colorado, and Colorado tries to run the rock, maybe tries to keep up in the pass game, even though it's going to be a terrible, terrible.
Yeah, I think you gotta weather it, as far as, no pun intended. You gotta really just stack the box, make the quarterback beat you. In about 3 games, the running back's name is a little fleet in my mind right now, but he's got almost 500 yards in 3 games just on the ground
For UCF?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I mean, it's clear what their plan is when they play, and especially given the weather condition, I think that's 100% going to spearhead their offense. Now Colorado just has to do their best to, weather that storm, literally. But yeah, you gotta, as far as the offensive side, you got to give Shador a little help. Because, I mean, last week he threw for, 300
plus, I think.
I don't even know how many yards he threw. But Baylor isn't obviously the school that they used to be.
That's true.
But it's a credible enough school that you're going to see it and be like, hey, they beat Baylor.
That's a decent win. Yeah.
You'll take it. And
RJ Harvey is the name of the running back, by the way. He's got, I just pulled it up right here. He's got 59 carries for 448 yards.
Yeah.
8 tugs.
Yeah, that'll do it in 3 games.
Yeah. He averages 7.6 a carry.
They're starting off the season hot at 3-0. And Colorado, even with how much they've, I guess, struggled in the public eye, they're 3-1.
I think it's just, the popularity they bring on themselves. You'd almost expect them to be like a dominant team like Texas.
Yeah, but we're talking about Colorado.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's brought on themselves.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
you're always going to get that when you have someone like Prime as the head coach.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about notoriety-wise. He's just such a big figure in the football industry that he's always going to bring that attention no matter where. He could be coaching some random place.
Yeah.
Always going to bring attention because it's Deion Sanders.
I mean, he did it before he got to Colorado.
With
I can't
Jackson
even
State.
think of there you go.
With
I
Jackson
couldn't even think of the school that he was coaching before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 100%. You are right. And, they got played tough against North Dakota in the first game. I will say Matt Rule, who he did dominate Deion Sanders in the Colorado.
Yeah.
The second week, Matt Rule did say he would kill the schedule maker for Nebraska if he ever saw Dakota on his schedule the first few weeks, because he knows that they're always going to play him tough. Because your team's trying to figure out who they are the first few weeks, and the Dakotas know what they are.
Yeah.
They're going to play tough on defense, hit you hard, and run the rock right through you. That's what they're going to do, and to an extent, that's kind of what they did against Colorado. Fell short. Speaking of falling short, Colorado fell way short against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska, good team, though. Matt Rule was a good college coach.
Yeah.
NFL did not work out. Now, it was with Carolina.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the Red Rocket. So, maybe if he had the Red Rocket, he would have won some games, kept his job.
Hey.
We don't know.
Clean win for them this past week against the Raiders.
But so, he's back in college, and maybe he can get back into what he was before. I might be mistaken, but I think Matt Rule was one of the coaches of Baylor.
He was before he went to Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. And then obviously you had the Baylor win last week for Colorado. Good win. That really had to fight, come back.
Yep.
It seems like Colorado does do that. It looks like they're almost never finished. It looks like they go into the half always trailing, and it's like Travis Hunter's kind of like, dude, just keep.
Yeah.
I'll go for 100+ few tugs.
Well, I think it just depends how much that O-line can give him time back there.
Yeah.
Because there's some plays where they're in the backfield when the ball snapped.
So it's a little, and it's a little interesting. I know that they said they fixed the offensive line before the year. Now, you don't know if you fix the offensive line until you
play.
Yeah. But so I will say that it's starting to get to this point. I know he's only been there, this is his second season
with Colorado.
But now he should be putting his influence into his recruiting. Realistically, I feel like even though Colorado's Colorado and not, an Alabama, a Georgia, a Texas or something, you do have Dion, and you should be able to bring some dudes.
Yeah.
Certainly some big boys to protect.
Yeah.
So maybe down the future we see that, or maybe we just see, these teams with a lot of money like USC, Texas, Oklahoma, all that oil money down there in Texas, and all that, they start to really get those guys, because in the SEC, you need big boys.
Yeah.
You need a lot of big boys that can also run fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what speaking of SEC and Texas, we'll go ahead and debuts for a new SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought they might not be, up to the task of the SEC. It looks like they are. They got a lot of big dudes, and they can move the ball very well, no matter who's playing quarterback. Although Arch did not have an amazing game, he did have a good game, and they still won quite convincingly.
Yeah.
But that's also Texas, and that's how it's going to go.
Right.
Wow. I know, that's unfortunate. By the way, we did, in the first little segment, we did have the football game on. That ended, so we're now watching the Padres and Dodgers finish up their game. Padres were winning 2-0 until Will Smith hit a home run just now. That's what we were reacting to. Sorry about that. So now it's a 2-2, and that's going to make the NL even more exciting. So now let's move back to Texas.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and, I guess, actually, I've been talking too much. Let's go ahead and what do you think about just Texas in general? And then also they're playing a team, Mississippi State, probably on the lower tier of the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about how their SEC debut is going to go?
I think, although Ewers practiced this week, I think there's no reason to rush it. Especially like you said, Archie didn't look like flying colors last week. It was his first actual start.
Uh-huh.
He had obviously taken a couple snaps late in games. But I think you just ride it. Team looked comfortable with him. And I mean, Mississippi State's 1-3 right now. So you're feeling pretty good about it. No reason to rush Quinn. Save it for when you play those big games, because Steve already said that he's going to be the starter when he comes back healthy. Make sure he is healthy when he comes back. And like I said, there's no reason to rush it against a Mississippi State when I think they're favored 36.5 points. Just go out there, do the little things right, and you should win the game.
Definitely. And, you brought that up with Steve Sarkisian. I think it really benefits the position Texas are in right now to have an experienced coach like Sarkisian.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's obviously been around a lot of different places, and he's kind of found this home at Texas, and I think that experience is really showing here, because maybe some other coaches with some less experience, when Ewers goes down, the backup quarterback comes in, and the backup quarterback outplays or does just the same.
Yeah.
A lot of the hype is to keep the backup in. You're winning games, keep the backup in. It doesn't matter what that other quarterback did for you. This isn't a Jordan Love, Malik Willis situation. Now,
right.
It is with the way Sarkisian's handling it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how a whole lot of backup situations in college go, especially when the other backup's a exciting redshirt freshman. I think he's a redshirt freshman.
I think it's true.
No, he was there last year.
Oh, yeah, right.
So he's either a sophomore or a redshirt freshman. I'm not sure. But there's another caveat to that when the backup has the last name of Manning.
Yep.
Because and people were talking about it, and for a while when Manning came in and played last week, leading into this week, Manning had better odds to win the Heisman than Ewers.
That's just using the last name.
Yeah. I like the way that Sarkisian handled this. Like I said, maybe an inexperienced coach goes with Manning. Now he could go with Manning, and Manning could be a Manning, and they win the Natty, and nobody blinks an eye.
Yeah.
But yours is also obviously gone after this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the way the Mannings family is
Talking about the situation.
They were like, nobody should lose their job because of an injury. That's not how this should go. Quinn's a really good quarterback, deserves the starting job when he gets back. And I like how Arch is okay with sitting there and learning. It's almost like a Manning experience.
I think you have to be.
Well, you have to be. And it's funny because Peyton, obviously his uncle, did it as well. Small quarterback by the name of Todd Helton, future Hall of Famer for the Colorado Rockies, was a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He got an injury. Now, his injury was pretty serious, I do believe, and Manning and Peyton had to play the rest of the year. And I don't believe Todd Helton played football. I figured he just said, fuck it. I'm really good at baseball, too.
A Hall of Fame baseball player, I guess.
And this guy's really good at playing quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a little different in that scenario. But he sat behind it.
Yeah.
For his, I don't know how long it was at Tennessee.
I want to say he played until his junior year.
Yeah. And then, I don't know Eli's situation at
Ole Miss.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not familiar with his situation, but I like the patience that they're showing.
Yeah.
It's really nice because in football, with the way these guys are built, some of these guys, now other quarterbacks sit and they don't play until like their sophomore or junior year, and then they, get recognition, then they go into the NFL.
Yeah.
But some of these other guys come in like Nebraska's quarterback.
Oh,
Dylan Raiola.
Dylan
Raiola.
He's a true freshman.
He's a true freshman.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to play all the way until he can get drafted.
Right.
That's pedal to the metal since you leave high school, and you're assuming he's going to go high in the draft.
Yeah.
Which means he's probably going to be a starter on that NFL team. So it's a long span of not really being able to take a step back and develop. Now, you develop as you get experience.
Right.
But there is, and I think a lot of people are showing it now, there's a big difference between the college level and the men's league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm a big fan of having people develop.
Right.
You have these young guys, I love what the Patriots are doing with Drake May. I think you're seeing it. There's just rare scenarios where these quarterbacks come out and are really good right away. You had C.J. Stroud last year. It's looking like Daniels might be that this year.
Yeah, certainly.
But you got to give some other guys some time. We brought up last week, Peyton Manning has the all-time record for interceptions as a rookie.
Right.
And Peyton Manning was just a little good after that. Just a little.
Right.
But so, going back to that, I do like how they're just sitting back, letting Arch learn. And it's dangerous if a Manning can learn.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he has as big as his forehead as his uncle, but
hopefully he can retain some knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go to the last game we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's the headline game. Also going to get affected by the weather, probably. But these two teams can do anything they want to almost anybody that's not against each other.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about Alabama,
Georgia.
And this is the first time Kirby Smart will not be going up against his former
rival
head coach.
Yeah.
Because he was.
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
And Kalen DeBoer
Mm-hmm.
is now obviously the coach of Alabama. So I'm interested to get your take on how you think that's going to go. Obviously, Alabama, not necessarily in a transition year. It looks like Kalen DeBoer's kind of picking up right where Saban left off. Alabama's kind of been rolling. But Georgia's Georgia. They look bad against Kentucky, but you got to almost chalk that up to it's Georgia. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, and especially given the history with the two schools, I think you never think, one school is going to be so much heavier favorite than the other, no matter where you're playing. Obviously, you'd rather be playing, because I think it's in Tuscaloosa?
Yes.
Okay.
And Georgia's favored by 1 point.
See, and that's just them probably looking at it thinking Georgia's got the better football team. But I think if they've shown anything, that I think Georgia stomped them last year, and then when it came to the SEC championship,
Alabama
won.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things where it's going to be a coin flip with these guys, and I think no matter who you have at head coach, obviously, like you said, he hasn't skipped a beat. I think it's going to be a great game. And I think for me, it's just going to see who can limit the mistakes and who's going to run the ball better.
Okay.
Because whoever can do those two is going to win the game.
So it's interesting that it's in Tuscaloosa because I'm not sure of the logistics of the NCAA. NCAA has made a lot of poor decisions, and I'm not sure if this would be an NCAA decision or a SEC decision. But it's interesting to see if it were in Georgia, I wonder if they'd play it in Mercedes-Benz. Because of the storms, you could put a roof on that. You know, the Mercedes-Benz that has the retractable roof for the Falcons play and all that.
Right.
I wonder if they'd move it there. Now, I don't know. Obviously, Georgia would probably like to. Athens, I'm not sure. I'm not in Georgia. I'm not sure how far the travel is from Athens to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, if it was bad, if the weather was as bad as they think it's going to be, it might be worth it. But it's in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
It's in Alabama. Last time I checked, I'd have to bring up my map. There's not many pro teams in Alabama that have indoor stadiums. I believe there's a total of 0. So, that was going to be interesting. It's going to be outside, and it's going to be really bad. I just wonder, it's obviously in the middle of a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the rain's going to be bad. I'm just curious about the wind too, because I think the weather might. I want to say it helps Alabama. And the reason I'm going to say that is, although I think it's the SEC, everybody's big, everybody's fast.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Georgia is bigger up front. Carson Beck can't really move.
Yeah.
He's not a quarterback that's going to beat you with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Milroe is.
Right. That is true.
You can run a whole lot of that with Milroe. And I'm sorry, I don't know. I know some college football, not a whole lot. Not familiar with the running back. Yeah. Not familiar with the running back's name. But you can run a whole lot of option stuff like that if the weather's terrible.
Right.
If it's really, really bad.
You really don't want to throw it.
And you don't want to throw it. Now, you can also do the safe throws and all that. And I'm not even going to get into that because everybody on that field is a stud.
Yeah, is fast and
can go. And then, by the way, the corners can catch up and tackle.
Yep.
Same with the linebacker. Same with the safeties. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the D tackles can go catch.
Especially those Georgia linebackers, man.
Exactly. So, I think it'll be interesting. I think if the weather is really bad and it's not a game where someone's going to win by throwing the ball, I think it might benefit Alabama. But Georgia's big, man, and Georgia's Georgia, and I really like Kirby Smart. I think now that Nick Saban's gone, Kirby Smart is probably the best coach in the NCAA.
Yeah.
And so we'll just have to see. It's going to definitely be very, very interesting to see how that all shakes down. That's going to be a massive game with the way the playoff is now with 12 teams. I'm not sure. You can almost assume that it's not going to impact the playoff, but it could.
I would say the SEC championship, though.
Oh, definitely.
Because it looks like
that the way Ole Miss is running.
Oh, I was going to say because of Texas.
Texas, too. You're right.
So I was thinking whoever wins this game, it's probably going to be the team that plays Texas.
You're probably right. Yeah, definitely.
So I would say it affects it maybe in that way.
Although they both play Texas.
Yeah, also true.
So we're getting really, really blessed here. Everybody was kind of worried that these rivalries would be gone as the Baltimore Orioles clinched the wild card.
Yes.
That these rivalries would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see, UCLA. Or you will see UCLA and USC because they're both in the Big Ten.
Okay.
But you're not going to see some of these other rivalries that have been, forever. I'm not sure how it's all going to work out if Washington plays Washington State every single year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Oregon's going to play Oregon State every single year. That's just kind of, I think they both do play each other this year, but that's for scheduling down the road. I'm not sure. And it might not mean as much because it's not a conference game anymore.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry, sure. But you tend to hate the people in your conference, especially the competitive teams in your conference.
Yeah.
Because you're realistically, going to fight it out for that title.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what, I can't remember the last time a college slate was like this.
Yeah.
And wow, normally you get the big boys.
Yeah.
Playing
the guys playing all the other teams.
Playing, the lower tier teams. We got Michigan, USC last week. The week before that was Michigan, Texas. You got Alabama, Georgia this week. Let's see. I'll just scroll.
I'm even
real
excited
quick.
about the Colorado game.
Exactly.
And those are 2 unranked teams.
Exactly. And for some reason it's only pulling up. Oh, last week you also had Oklahoma, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so for some reason it's not pulling up a whole lot of games right now. But just for a little bit of reference, Missouri plays A&M next week. The week after that, if it will load, it's only loading a few games for me. But Texas plays Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And the Red River rivalry. That's a massive game. That's a rivalry that stayed connected because they both win. And LSU plays Ole Miss.
Oh,
I mean,
that
but
one.
around week 7 is when you start to see those matchups. You never saw those matchups week 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I
but
think
now
you were
it's
just kind of filler. Let's fill the schedule. Let's get some guys in here, pay people. Like Ohio State playing Marshall.
Yeah.
Ohio State hasn't really played anybody yet, but Ohio State's Ohio State.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm not too sure. They get a tough road coming up. I know that they play a few tough teams coming up, but it's
exciting times.
It is exciting times. So as we got a few more minutes here, I don't know if you saw. So we're gonna just finish out with the NCAA in this segment. We'll go into a little bit of NFL, if that's all right. Next section. Do you see what happened with the quarterback at UNLV?
UNLV? No, I did not.
Okay, so quarterback for UNLV. UNLV's 3-0.
Okay.
Mountain West. I don't know if you're familiar with the way the playoff works.
As far as
it's the 4 conferences: SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. The winner of those 4 conferences automatically in the playoff.
Oh, well, that's what they expanded playoffs, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay.
The best team from any other conference.
Oh, boy.
Best team from any other conference also in the playoff.
Wow.
The highest ranked team from any of the other conferences gets in. UNLV's 3-0 right now. Looking good. Running the rock really well. Quarterback. Played 4 years at Holy Cross. This is his 5th year. Red shirt. No, I don't believe he's a red shirt. I don't know if they still do the COVID year or whatever. I'm not sure.
True.
But for some reason, this is his 5th. Has not redshirted yet.
Mm-hmm.
Senior. Fuck it. I'm a red shirt. After being 3-0. Because allegedly, an assistant coach, when he was being recruited, promised him a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And verbal agreement, not in a written contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the school never gave him the money. So he said, screw this school. I'm a red shirt. That's the story. Now, what I'm really, really, for the sake of this kid, hoping is that he's not just saying that and using the fact that he played decent for UNLV to get an NIL deal
right
at a bigger school.
Or transfer to
next
a
year.
bigger
That's
school.
what I'm saying, transfer next year. That's what I'm really hoping for. Obviously, he's going to transfer. And I'm not sure, all these big schools have so many good quarterbacks. So he's probably not going to go. You're not going to see him playing for like Ohio State next year.
Right.
But, if it comes out that like he goes to like I can't even really think of a college right now, but like a Florida.
Yeah.
Who's struggling right now and got a huge money deal for it.
I mean, even look at the FSU guy. Played great at Oregon State, and now he's at Florida State.
Exactly.
And it's been abysmal.
And so, I just really hope for his sake that that's not it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll never find out. I mean, this kid probably not going to play in the NFL. So he's got to get his money where he can get his money. I respect people trying to get their money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's certainly interesting where you're 3-0 and you're looking good. And with the way the playoff works now, you're really looking. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with Boise. Boise looks really good. I was going to
say, they're ranked 25th right now.
Boise looks really good. Their running back cannot be stopped.
Yeah. He's already projected to go in the first round of the NFL draft next year.
I think his name, forgot. His name is eluding me here. I think it's like, see, this is the problem with us playing NCAA.
Right.
The fact that we're in like our 3rd year. And we do have somebody playing as Boise State.
Yeah.
We do.
But he's already gone.
So, he's gone. He got drafted first year.
Because 3rd season now.
So Gentry.
Okay.
Gentry's his name. Because I was going to say Dunbar. I don't know if Dunbar is their backup now. All I know is this last college football season in our dynasty, Logan was towing the rock with Dunbar, not Gentry.
Yeah.
But so if you're looking at season stats, I mean, his last game, 11 carries, 127 yards. He's got 56 carries for 586 yards and 9 tuggies. And by the way, one of those games was against Oregon.
Damn.
Yeah, Boise has played.
They beat them?
No,
I was gonna
unfortunately,
say.
lost by 3.
Okay, that's
field
probably their
goal.
only loss.
It
Okay.
is their only loss. So they beat up on Georgia Southern. They lost by 3 to Oregon, and then beat the shit out of Portland State. So they haven't played a whole lot of, or the reason they're ranked is because they played Oregon so tough.
Right.
But they've also beat the shit out of teams they should beat the shit out of.
Hey,
So
and that's all you can ask for. With,
but so
with
their
a school like that.
their schedule doesn't look too tough.
Mhm.
You know, they play Washington State coming up here. Then they go Utah State, Hawaii, UNLV, San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and Oregon State.
Okay, so
you
pretty
could
much
see-
their own division.
The Mountain West.
Yeah.
So you could see Boise, if they win out, they'll probably end up
There's a chance.
16th, 15th ranked, and they'll go to the playoff.
But yeah, that's
And
the
so
top
that'll
of
be
the- top of
interesting
their
because
division.
they'll end up playing like the number 2 team, Ohio State, and probably getting fucking pee-pee whacked.
Yeah.
But, you know, it would definitely be interesting. But I thought that it was it was definitely interesting that a quarterback for a team that was 3-0, I said, fuck it, I'm gone.
Red shirt. Bad.
But
All
you know,
bad.
if that's true, you always got to listen. I'm no lawyer. That's for you guys at home. I'm no lawyer. But if someone promises you something like
you
that,
don't get it. Mm-hmm.
verbally,
Can't really blame them.
you got to get that thing in writing.
That as well.
You got to
That
get
as
that
well.
thing in writing and have that signed,
Mhm.
notarized, whatever you got to do, because verbally doesn't mean shit. That's a
He said,
he says,
she
she
said.
says thing. They're not going to be able to prove any of that. If you get that thing in writing, you got to pay.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break again. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and move on to the NFL section of this, covering a lot of shit today.
Yeah,
Not
a
that
lot,
bad.
a lot of sports.
Not that bad. And then hopefully next week, I know that you and even maybe Alex probably won't be able to contribute to a conversation, but that's starting too. I'm happy for that.
I'll have to get my puck knowledge up.
There you go.
I'll work on it.
But so okay, so we're gonna lead this off with a little bit of we did this a few weeks ago, and it did not hit.
It did not.
I'll pat myself on the back though.
There was only one part of the leg
My
that hit.
part did hit, and we're gonna go ahead and keep that momentum. We're gonna go ahead and do a prize picks for this week. I at least have 2 guys. Now you can take this, we use prize picks. You guys can use whatever you want. We should say that we are not professionals. This has a very big chance of
Not hitting.
not hitting, just like our first one. So this is not any sort of advice.
Right.
But so I'm going to go ahead and carry the momentum of my anytime touchdown. Look, I did say that I will bet anytime touchdowns the entire year until they buck me off.
There you go.
And I have not been bucked yet.
There you go.
So I'm
Let's
actually
keep
going to
riding.
go with 2
Okay.
this week.
Okay.
2 guys to find the paint. The first person I got, lackluster start. People saying he's old. People saying he can't move like he used to. People saying that Patrick Mahomes isn't looking at him. I'm going with Travis Kelce to find the paint this week.
Okay.
I think it's been too long, man. I think they're starting to really get that conversation where, like I said, people are saying he's too old. People are saying this.
Take some
he's
disrespect
got a
to
lot
it.
of shit going on outside of football now.
Right.
I honestly think that this is the week that he finds the paint. Probably has an explosive game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kind of due for a Travis explosive
Fantasy
game.
wise, I need it.
Yeah, I think that he finds he gets in the end zone this week. I think that it's almost getting to the point where they get down there,
Mm-hmm.
and Patrick Mahomes is so good, and I'm drawing a blank.
Rasheed Rice,
No, not Rasheed Rice.
Xavier Worthy.
No, not even a player.
Not
Not even a player.
Okay.
Andy Reid.
Oh,
All
there
right.
you go.
It took me a while to
Big
remember
Ray,
Andy
Big Ray.
Reid for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think that Andrew Reid will almost drop a play for him
Mhm.
to find the paint just because it's been so long, man, and it's just not expected. The other person I have, this one, a little bit more risky because,
Mhm.
oh boy, is the Pittsburgh Steelers defense good.
Yeah.
But,
I would say so.
it's looking like right now at least Anthony Richardson can't really find, he can throw the deep ball really well, but he can't really find those medium throws. I think they're going to have to lean on Jonathan Taylor a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jonathan Taylor, for the second straight game, gets in the end zone. Scored 2, I believe, last week.
Well, one was from 29 out.
Yeah.
That was
Scored
a good
2
run.
last week. I think he finds it again today. He's starting to show glimpses of Jonathan Taylor before the whole contract.
Right.
What about you?
Alrighty. Well, to pony on the Travis Kelce one, I'm gonna go with Mahomes to throw over 1.5 touchdowns this week. I think especially one trying to get Travis hot. Rashee Rice has looked great this season. And you never even know with Xavier Worthy, he might blow the top off of the defense. But I think without Derwin James this week, it doesn't look like he's going to play this week.
No, he got suspended.
And that's Travis. Then that's Travis's guy.
He got
Travis
suspended.
gets locked up by him, so it's another reason why, we might get a breakout game from Travis this week. So give me Mahomes for 1.5 throwing touchdowns. That's my pick this week.
All right, so we got Kelsey, anytime touchdown. Mahomes, 2 throwing tuds.
Yes.
And Jonathan Taylor also.
To run one in.
Anytime touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so off the back of that, we have had Now, listen, the NFL has been a little weird the last 2 weeks we've done this, but it has not looked great for us picking these last 2 weeks. I mean, shit, the Panthers won last week.
I think and may I give myself a pat on the back because I said I didn't believe the Raiders hype. I didn't think, they went into Baltimore, they stunned them. Ravens haven't looked good all season. They didn't even look good last week against the freaking Cowboys.
Oh, what?
No.
I thought they looked real good.
They won
dude.
by 3.
Yeah, but that game was out of hand until the end.
You play a game for 4 quarters, not 1/2.
I know.
And I didn't believe in the Raider hype. Antonio Pierce is ripping his players for making business decisions.
Saw that. That's
In the
crazy.
post-game
I
interview.
love Antonio Pierce.
And don't get me wrong, I love it. But, man, at some point, the locker room, it's more than respect. I think respect is both ways. And you just got to hope guys don't take it the wrong way. And they take it as constructive criticism. Now, let's see if those guys who did make business decisions can learn from it. But I did say the Panthers were going to win last week.
You did. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. We're actually going to skip Thursday night game as we watch the end of it. We're filming Thursday night.
Yep.
We should clarify that we do this at night because sometimes we do say dumb stuff and we do get roasted.
That's true.
And me more than it seems like
Hey,
it's
after
roasted
a long
more than
day of
anyway.
work.
It's after
Okay?
a long
It's
day
a
of work.
long
We
day
got
of
other
work.
jobs.
Yeah.
Wake up early for work. Make some dumb decisions.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll tell you what, we get more popular, maybe less dumb decisions.
Hey,
Because we'll be doing it earlier.
yeah,
Because we won't be working. Probably not. Still going to have dumb decisions. But
That's okay, though.
It's entertaining.
it'll be less,
we'll go ahead,
less of a reason
Although
to,
I
though.
will show, just because I do have, I'm not sure if you're part of our pick and pool, I did have the Dallas Cowboys.
I did as well,
So we'll go ahead and start.
as I'm sure most of you did as well.
Yes, of course. Although the Giants, might be a little hope in New York, but
Okay, hey, that's what happens when you give Daniel Jones time in the pocket. He can make a couple throws. I
also
now,
could miss a couple throws.
he didn't get the end zone tonight, but that's why you have
Hey,
a
listen,
kicker.
you didn't, and you Didn't bet Danny Dimes to find the end zone.
I did not.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the New Orleans Saints in Atlanta.
Yep, division game
I'll
this
go
week.
ahead and big division game. Looks like I'll go ahead and start off. I really like this New Orleans offense. I know a lot of people don't believe in Derek Carr, and I know they got really dominated last week against the Eagles.
Mhm.
Eagles got a pretty good defense. I'm going to ride with the Saints on this one. I think their offense figures out a way to start rolling again. I know the Falcons look good, but I think the Saints pull it out.
Man, they had it last week against the Chiefs, and I feel like we just sound like a broken record with this team almost beat the Chiefs. This team almost beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, but the PI fucked them.
It's the little calls,
Or the non-PI.
It's the little calls and decisions you make, like Raheem Morris not going for a field goal right there in the red zone. Next thing you know, you're driving down. You need 2. Now you need 5. Now you need the touchdown. That makes a difference. And they have a great kicker in Younghoe Koo. So for me, I'm going to take the Saints, as I feel like they're the team that's going to make less errors on the field. And
Better coached almost, you're saying?
yeah, I would probably say that. And I mean, Raheem, they haven't looked bad this season, but it's little decisions like that, especially in a division game where there's not a lot of margin for error, you're going to take the team that you can trust to make less mistakes to win a ball game. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm taking the Saints.
All right, there you go. All right, so we got the Bengals, who are for somehow, some way, not or against the Panthers in Carolina. And the Panthers somehow, some way, not the 0-3 team that is going into this
I don't think
matchup.
that's the conversation we would be having at the start of the season.
No, although I do think I can't really bring myself. This is kind of, although I don't know if they treated him wrong. This is a little bit of a Red Rocket revenge game.
It is.
Man, I don't like the waffle. You know what? Give me the Panthers. I think actually, you know what? No, give me the Bengals.
No.
Give me the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals. Dude, see, the problem is I just can't see the Carolina Panthers defense stopping that offense. The Bengals offense looked good last week.
They did.
Their defense looks absolutely terrible.
Abysmal.
But their offense looked good. They can't really run the rock now that Joe Mixon's gone.
Mm-hmm.
They lose a lot of production there.
Yep.
But go ahead. I think the offense carries in this game. Take the Bengals.
Okay. Now we got the new era of the Red Rocket in Carolina. And this is coming from someone that took the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl at the start of the year, to win the Super Bowl even. I'll give you that.
Check out the short.
And God, man, that defense is ass.
Bad.
To put it nicely. To put it nicely, it is bad. Trey Hendrickson can only do so much in that front line. I'm gonna take Carolina.
All right.
They looked great last week against the Raiders. And I mean, until the Bengals show me the team that I saw at the start of the season, I got no reason to pick them. So for me, I'm going Carolina this week.
There you go. Okay, so we got the very, very beat up Los Angeles Rams versus the Chicago Bears. I'll go ahead and have you start this one if you would like.
I mean, hey, we saw a game last week where the Rams looked like they were beat. And at no point did you think, they look pretty good during this game against the Niners. And yes, the Niners have their own injuries. Debo didn't play. CMC's on IR. Doesn't look like he's going to be back anytime soon.
He's in Germany getting treatment.
And
apparently, according to a lot of people, you don't go to Germany unless it's a problem.
Yeah, I said it a couple weeks ago. I don't think he plays another snap this season. That's just me. It's tendonitis. It's an issue that
and his Achilles
sticks
too.
with you.
It's an Achilles
for a guy
too.
that pivots so much, likes to change directions. That is not what you want with your running back. And for me, I look at what happened to Todd Gurley. He was still young, but he had tendonitis in his knee, and we saw how quick his career ended. I still think the Bears are playing okay, but when you lose to the Colts, I can't forgive that. I cannot forgive that.
Watch it.
So for me, I will be taking the Rams this week, and they're going to have to ride Kyren like they did last week against the Niners.
Bears scored 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Off the back of that, I'm actually going to take Chicago. I think Caleb kind of showed flashes last week, threw for 350 yards.
Yeah.
Now, did he and Anthony Richardson play a little bit of no, you take the ball, no, you take the ball, no, you take the ball, no, you take the ball? Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to happen when you have 2 young quarterbacks. And I think that Caleb's slowly starting to figure it out. Like I said, 350 yards on a defense that isn't great. But yeah, I'm going to take the Bears. I think this is a game where maybe we see Caleb figure it out. It doesn't help that they can't run the ball for it. They couldn't run against the Colts.
They're starting to get Roshan Johnson the ball now.
I'm convinced that I could run against the Colts. So the fact that they couldn't run against the Colts is a little bit of a problem. But Aaron Donald's not there anymore. I'll take the Bears.
Okay.
All right, we got big rivalry game.
Yep.
Minnesota, undefeated Minnesota, against the Malik Willis-led Green Bay Packers. I just don't think they're going to rush Love. If they're winning, they're in a situation now where they're 2. If they lose this, they're 2-2. I think they can.
You take that?
I think you take that.
Okay. So you're taking the Vikings?
No. I'm going to take the Packers.
Wow.
I'm going to take the Packers, and I'll tell you what, I don't like to steal anything, but obviously I watch stuff. So this is a little bit of influence from something I watched. I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and they were showing that LaFleur, obviously head coach for Green Bay, is running a very similar offense to the offense he ran in Tennessee back in the day with Marcus Mariota. So it's a very cool situation where LaFleur could easily be like, okay, Malik, you're the backup quarterback. You have to come in and fit my system.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like he's doing that. looks like he's putting the ego to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, okay, let's go. I know what type of quarterback you are, what you need to be successful, and I'm going to apply it. And I think that shows again. Although I do think the Vikings are very good.
Yeah.
I think the Green Bay Packers, for some reason, just kind of have this magic about them where they're going to win until they get Jordan Love back, and then they're probably going to win after that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's funny. And, of course, I got bit by the Vikings last week with my Texans. And, I mean, they handed it to them. I think Laramie Tunsil forgot he played for the Texans and was wearing a Vikings jersey under his jersey. That might have to be investigated. We won't know. But I actually am as well, but it comes with a caveat. I take the Packers if Jordan Love is playing. For me, the Vikings are just playing so well, both sides of the ball. Their new acquisition this offseason, our new signee, Jonathan Grenard, had 3 sacks last week against the Texans, against his old team. And that hurt. But I think when you're doing it on both sides of the ball, they're running it. You know, they're playing great defense. And Sam Darnold's not making any mistakes right now. I take the Vikings if it's Malik, and I take the Packers if it's Love.
All right.
That's what I'm going with this week.
All right, another division rival. Your Houston Texans play host to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because we are, running a little long on this, but the Texans, the Jaguars suck.
I saw fans talking about it, and if the Texans don't win this game handedly, you got to start asking some questions. Because from what we saw from the Jags on Monday Night Football was Doug Peterson, you better watch out. Because your job is coming.
He's got to start calling plays again.
He might be
calling plays, but I don't know.
So I will be taking my Texans, though. I can't go against them. Give me them this week.
All right. So my Indianapolis Colts will be playing host to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hasn't exactly against the Steelers, hasn't exactly been a home field advantage for the Colts. Seems like a lot of terrible towels are in that Lucas Oil Stadium. That's not the only reason I'm going to do this. It pains me to do this. But what's the Colts' weakness? Can't really get anything going on offense, and they can't stop the run. What are the 2 things the Steelers do very well? Play defense and run the fuck out.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster for the Colts this week.
I think the Steelers are going to dominate.
Really?
Give me the Steelers. I'll take the spread if it was fucking 12.
I too am gonna take the Steelers. I think what we're seeing with Justin Fields this year, not turning over the ball, and I mean he's still got the explosiveness with his legs. Just because he's not making mistakes or the big plays, doesn't mean he can't make them with his legs. And so for me, I'm gonna keep it short. Give me the Steelers this week.
Fair. All right, we got the Broncos, revitalized Broncos.
Put a whooping on the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Going
into MetLife. Hopefully they can keep all their ACLs. Going into MetLife and playing the New York Jets. I'll go ahead and start this one off, and I'll kind of keep it a little short. I think the Jets can be a wagon. I think the Jets can be really good. Their defense is really good. Aaron Rodgers is getting better and better the more comfortable he's getting in the pocket with dealing with that coming off that Achilles injury.
Right.
I know they have Patrick Surtain. I don't think that's going to matter because it looks like Aaron Rodgers is back to his normal BS of throwing to anybody on the field at any time. Give me the Jets.
Al Lazard is back, baby.
Yep.
I think this is probably going to be the lowest scoring game of the week, just given with how good 2 defenses are. And, Bo Nix is still a rookie. And the Jets haven't been too explosive. Obviously, they whooped the pass last week, but no one was really surprised with that. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But I am going to take the Jets in this one.
All right, we got Bucks at home versus the Eagles. You go ahead and go first because I have a little bit of a longer.
Okay. These are 2 teams that, although they're not in the same division, they got a lot a lot of recent history, I will say. You got the Bucks who beat them last year in the playoffs, and then you got the Eagles who beat them in the previous year in the playoffs. So, these teams go way back together. Well, in recent memory, of course. And like we said with the Bucks, they looked horrendous last week against the Broncos. But for me, I think they're going to get a bounce back week. I don't know, just something about the Eagles and Sirianni. It doesn't really scream too much of confidence in me to pick them this week. I know Saquon looks like the best player in the NFL this year. but I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Not handedly, but that's who I'm going with this week.
So, I think you kind of touched on the topic I want to talk about with Sirianni. I think for some reason it just doesn't seem like he's just not really making the right choice right now. You know, he could have gone into half. They ended up winning the game, sure, but a lot of people in Philadelphia are still mad. There are some people calling for his job in Philadelphia. And it's tough to play while people are calling for your job. It's tough to coach when people are calling for your job. And it's the fact that they had the chance to kick a field goal to tie the game going into halftime, 3-3 snooze fest, unless you like defense, 3-3.
Yeah.
And they decided to go for it and didn't even tush push. They ran a little end around fake tush push, and Saquon got stuffed. And a lot of people are kind of drawing question marks on that. Why not go into the half with a brand new game, tied, even though it is 3-3? I think it would have gotten really loud if they lost that game.
Yeah.
Certainly if it was by like 3 points. I think with that being said, I think this is a bounce back week for the Bucks. I think the Bucks win.
Yeah.
And I think with that comes a 2-2 Eagles, where you're going to see a lot of Philadelphia fans. You know, hopefully the Phillies do really well in the playoffs for Nick Sirianni's sake, so they're a little distracted.
Yeah, I mean, and that's with them. Let's say they do lose this week, that's still them in the tie for the division lead. And that's the crazy thing.
That
but
division sucks.
I think there is something to say when those games are won handedly or confidently. So, you know, it's going to be definitely interesting to see what this week, what it shapes up to be.
Yeah. All right. So we got Washington going into Arizona and playing, they lost, but playing a pretty good Cardinals team.
Yep.
I'm going to keep the rest of these a little short. I don't really have a long description for these. I'm going to go with Washington.
Wow.
I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I think he's showing a lot of promise. The key thing is this is the only thing I'll say. This is so impressive for a rookie quarterback. No turnovers, no punts for 2 straight games. You're not giving the ball to the other team. Your defense is obviously playing good enough. Give me the
Commanders, huh?
Commanders.
Okay. I mean, you know, they made some ballsy decisions last week against a tough Bengals team. Yes, they are 0-3. Now they had a hand in that. But I think there's something to say when you trust your quarterback to make 2 4th down conversions in their own half. That shows a lot of confidence from a head coach. And I think as a player, you'd love to see it because, yes, he's only started in 3 games in his NFL career. But when your coach has that kind of confidence in you, it does say something. But I will say, I do like the Cardinals this week. But I like the Commanders a lot more after what I saw on Monday Night Football.
That's fair. All right, we got New England going to Santa Clara and playing the 49ers. 49ers don't look good. I think this is the perfect time for a nice bounce-back game for the 49ers. I think the 49ers kind of stick it to the New England Patriots, kind of show that they're back. I think their defense needs something like this. Yeah. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I think, even though we did say that they should have won last week against the Rams, and it wasn't a great showing, even though Purdy struggled again. I think this is a good bounce-back spot. You lean on the run game with Jordan Mason, who's looked good this year. And you might even have Debo back this week. But even if you don't, Juwan Jennings, he stepped up huge. He's looking like the guy that should be making $25 million. Sorry, Brandon Ayuk. Give me the Niners this week.
All right, we got the Cleveland Browns playing the only team that's lost to the Carolina Panthers, the Raiders.
Yep.
It looks like neither one of these teams can figure this out. If I was actually betting on this game, I'd stay far, far away from it. Just purely from a talent standpoint, give me the Browns.
Yeah, and like I said earlier about Antonio Pearson calling out his guys, I think it's going to be this game is going to show a lot, I think. So for me, I'm going to go with the Browns. Deshaun hasn't looked great this year. He's thrown a lot of picks, but something when you lose to a team that looked as bad as the Panthers, there's going to be some little. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to take the Browns this week. Raiders really got to show me something.
All right. Kansas City going to Los Angeles, playing the Chargers. I'll keep this short. I said earlier, I think Travis Kelce catches a touchdown. I think the Chiefs are going to win until they don't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs take this one. Give me the Chiefs to go 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little worrisome, especially if Joel Alt isn't going to play. I know he's been a little bit banged up lately.
He's hurt. I don't think he's going to play.
That I think it certainly affected the run game last week. Yes, they played the Steelers, who are a great defense. But JK he ran for 44 yards on like 11 carries, which isn't a great tally for him. But yeah, give me the Chiefs. Just keep it simple.
All right, we got a good game. Depending on how it goes, we got Buffalo. Good temperature game for Baltimore here. Buffalo playing the Ravens. I'll keep this one short. We don't have our Ravens fan here for me to make fun of.
Yeah.
I said it the last time we did this. I'll say it this time. As long as Josh Allen's on the field, there's a chance to win the game.
Yep.
And I'm taking Josh Allen almost every single time I can. I think right now solidified himself as the best quarterback in the NFL. Give me the Buffs.
Wow. Okay. I would say it's a bit of a hot take, especially, well, I've been calling Mahomes a game manager since last year, but that's another topic for discussion. But yeah, give me Josh Allen. I think that offense hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, last week they
They're spreading the ball everywhere. Scored with 5 different guys.
And
in the
showing
first half.
no, repercussion of it with getting rid of Diggs. Keep it going. Let's go with the good old Buffalo Bills.
There you go. All right, we got pretty much kind of a snooze fest because it seems like Tennessee Titans aren't very good.
Yeah.
And they're playing no Tua Dolphins. I don't think it's going to be Skylar Thompson. I think it's going to be Huntley. Who's the quarterback. Yeah. They signed him last week. Huntley didn't look bad for the Ravens when Lamar was out. But once again, this is like the Browns Raiders situation. I'd stay far away from this, but we got to do the pick 'em.
Yes, we do.
Give me the Tennessee Titans to win that game.
Okay.
For no other reason than the fact that I had to pick somebody.
Yeah. I don't think we say this confidently.
I can't believe that's a Monday Night Football game.
I would say it looked a lot better on paper going into the year.
With Tua, it's a good Monday night.
Yeah. And Will Levis has, like I said, shown flashes of it in the past.
Highest highs
and
the lowest lows.
Are low.
Unfortunately, he's only showing the lowest lows right now.
So, but for that reason, I am going to take what I think is going to be the better quarterback in that game. I will be taking the Titans, but not with a lot of confidence in my chest.
There you go. All right. And to cap it off, this is a better Sunday night game.
No, Monday night.
Monday night game, my bad.
2 of them again.
Yeah, 2 of them again. This is a better Monday night game. We have the undefeated, very quietly undefeated too, Seattle Seahawks up against the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions, it almost seemed like that old Detroit Lions kind of reared its head 2 weeks ago when they played the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And lost.
Oh,
no, the Lions beat the Cardinals, huh?
Yeah,
Or
they
lose
lost. They lost to the. Oh my God, it was a bad one. It was a bad loss. It was let me get it real quick. Oh, they lost to the Bucks.
Okay,
but
it
at
wasn't
the time
that bad.
it was 1-0. They were both 1-0.
Yeah. So it didn't look like back then. So it might not have been a terrible loss, but they did not look great.
Yeah, in that loss, it was pretty handily. I would say.
I think last week was a good bounce back for them, and I think they continue to ride that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Lions to win a tight one in Detroit. Yeah. I think I like Geno Smith. Geno Smith seems like he can spin it, and he's certainly hitting DK Metcalf, who, by the way, caught that ball almost standing still, and then proceeded to pull away from the 2 guys that were already running full speed.
He's a freak athlete. But yeah, I do like what they're doing in Seattle right now. But I like Dan Campbell. I like what they do out there in Detroit.
Great Applebee's ads.
Yes. I will be taking the Lions, but I do think it's gonna be a great Monday Night Football game.
It's got to be. It's the later one. It's probably the only one I'm watching.
I would say most people.
Although I do find myself watching even the bad games, so I can kind of just get information for this. You know what I'm saying? Like I do find myself really watching games I would normally not watch just to try and get some ball knowledge for this, just so I seem like less of an idiot when we do this. All right, that's the slate. Hopefully we don't completely fuck it up this week. We'll see, though.
I mean, with how the first 3 weeks have gone, I'm sure we'll have some fuck-ups in there somewhere.
Yeah, something. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. That's all.
That's all we got for now.
That's all we got for now. All right, guys.
All righty.
Like I said, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.